Today I'm running down 10 of the best Metroidvanias to play on the Nintendo Switch 2. Yes, the Nintendo Switch 2 isn't just a next-gen handheld. It's quickly becoming the ultimate console for Metroidvania fans. Number one, because of the beautiful larger screen. Number two, the portability of this new faster performant Switch 2. But also, number three, is the massive back catalog of Switch 1 games. I know I'm like looking at the Switch 2 games that are available on physical cartridges right now, not game key cards, and there's not a lot of them. There's not a lot of them out there, but there's a huge back catalog of incredible Switch 1 games. Many of them have received performance patch updates, or they're just playing so much better on the Switch 2, and in 60 frames a second, or just loading times are so much better. All around, it's just a better experience. So today I wanted to go over 10 that I have personally beat. Some of them I've even 100%ed. So that's what I wanted to dive in today. Now, before we dive into these games, I want to talk about what a Metroidvania actually is, because maybe, hey, you're new to the channel and you're new to the entire genre. You're like, I don't know where to get started. I don't even know what this means. What is a Metroidvania? Well, it is a subgenre of action-adventure games named after the classic Metroid from the 1980s on the Nintendo Entertainment System and Castlevania. These games kind of blended a few traits together, have large interconnected worlds, a large interconnected map, your exploration-based progression as you're making your way through this game, you're exploring and progressing. And also it's gate kept, meaning there's gates you cannot get through until you've upgraded your character, powers that you might need to earn along the way, like in Metroid, turning into a morph ball to get through a tunnel, all of those things. So again, it's all about curiosity, discovery, and that sort of aha moment when you realize an ability lets you sort of backtrack to an area that you forgot about. Oh, that hidden path, now I can go there because I can double jump. That is a Metroidvania. So there's some in this little pile here that could be a little controversial. So, and the Switch 2 is just perfect for this genre. It's handheld power, faster load times, beautiful screen to be able to sit back on the couch and play some of these games. So let's count down 10 of the best Metroidvanias to play on the new system, plus a couple of bonus mentions at the end that you're going to want to stick around for. All right, number one on my list in no particular order is Hollow Knight. Yes, I just put in over 94 hours into Hollow Knight, and I just beat it last night. No joke, it was last night that I finally completed this game, and I indeed got the true ending of the game, which means I did the entire White Palace, I got all 3 of the masks, I fought Radiance, the whole thing. Anyway, if you know, you know, you know. This game was incredible. If you could pick one modern game to sort of define what a modern Metroidvania would be, it would be Hollow Knight, Team Cherry's masterpiece. It really has this incredibly tight combat, haunting atmosphere. It's been perfect for Halloween. I had a whole bunch of Halloween games planned, and then I ended up like playing Hollow Knight for like most of the month because it's creepy. Spiders, ghosts, you're in caves. It's super atmospheric, just beautiful haunting atmosphere. One of the most intricately interconnected maps ever made. I couldn't believe how big the map was, how Hollow Nest, how big this thing was. There's no official Switch 2 patch yet, but thanks to the system's faster storage, improved CPU, transitions between zones are smoother, load times nearly instant. On the new LCD screen, the larger screen, is beautiful. It just looks great on this. I actually took my Switch 2 on a trip with me for the past week. I was on airplanes, I was at airports, traveling, and I played Hollow Knight the entire time on the Switch 2. So just a gorgeous game to play. If you're thinking about diving, it is brutally difficult. Let me just say that the White Palace, oh my God. And no, I didn't do the Path of Pain. I'm not going to do that. But the White Palace with all of those razor blades and buzzsaws and spikes everywhere was easily the hardest platforming level of any Metroidvania I've ever played. All right, number 2 on my list needs no introduction. It's sitting right here, and that is Metroid Dread. Yes, I have the special edition because I'm that much of a freak about the Metroid series, and this game changed everything for me. This is the reason I got back into gaming. When I bought this on the Nintendo Switch 1, bought an OLED Switch, and I just sat down by the fire, sitting by the fireplace, and played this game, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I loved about Metroid. And it brought me back to gaming. It brought me back to playing games. I had like a 15-year gap where I didn't play any games, and it just brought me back. It reminded me of how much why I love, Metroidvania style games. The very first game I ever beat on the original Nintendo Entertainment System was Metroid. Yes, beating Mother Brain and escaping. It was incredible as a youngster. in the 1980s. So yes, let's dive into this. It is one of the most responsive cinematic action exploration games ever made, and the Switch 2 doesn't change the core experience, but it perfects it. It makes it just absolutely beautiful. Rock solid 60 frames a second. Faster memory means you're rarely seeing any kind of a load screen for more than a split second. Sharper image clarity just gives every dash and parry an extra bit of precision, and playing it, of course, in docked mode, it just looks gorgeous. Yes, Metroid Dread on the Nintendo Switch 2 is a must-play game, especially if you have any kind of nostalgia for the original Metroid. You know, that's great. But if you don't, this is a perfect entry point to see what all the fuss is about. And of course, when you're getting chased by those Emmys, oh my God, yeah, it's just terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. All right, number 3, another Metroid game. Might as well just mention them right now, and that's Metroid Prime Remastered. Now, I never played the original Metroid Prime when it was first launched on the GameCube, but they recently, of course, released it for the Switch 1, and they did really a ground-up remaster. I mean, it's everything. It's just given thought and precision and rebuilt from the ground up. It absolutely defines the genre of like first-person Metroidvania-style games. It's gorgeous. If Metroid Dread represents the roots, you know, of Metroid, Metroid Prime Remastered is the 3D evolution of the Metroid formula, and it's beautiful on the Switch 2 with this interconnected alien worlds full of secrets. By the way, the soundtrack is so good in this game that it just plays beautifully on those new speakers on the Switch 2 as well. It still feels ahead of its time. It really does. Digital Foundry confirmed that the remaster already, ran at a lock 60 frames a second on the original Switch, of course, but on Switch 2, the extra horsepower makes transitions between these biomes like seamless, eliminates any kind of micro stutters that were there before. It remains one of the best examples of how exploration and atmosphere can coexist perfectly in a 3D space. And yes, I completed this game and it was absolutely a treat. I can't wait for Metroid Prime 4. I hope that they also re-release 2 and 3, maybe some sort of a combo pack, I don't know. I would love just all of these games to live on the Nintendo Switch and the Switch 2. That would be perfect. Number 4 on my list is Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown. Ubisoft, surprise, with a big hit here, a full-blown AAA Metroidvania that proves that, hey, big studios, even if Ubisoft has lost like 90% of its market share and it's kind of like a, circle in the drain, if you will. Wow, they came out with an incredible game and they can still nail this genre. Way to go. Could we see more games like this, please? Its movement is fluid, time-based powers are satisfying to chain together. The world design in this game encourages exploration in like every direction. The world design is fantastic. Still one of my favorite levels in any Metroidvania is like there's like a wrecked ship section of this game that's like kind of frozen in time. It's like weird time thing where it's like in the middle of a shipwreck, but it's like frozen in time, and it's super cool and creepy and really awesome. Love it. I should say when they released it, if I'm not mistaken, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when they released it, it was showing not way better, but better performance on the Switch 1 than it did even on the PlayStation 5. Just was a better release, so I bought it on the Switch 1. I'm like, well, everyone's saying it's playing better on the Switch. Then I can take it portably. I could travel with it. It was perfect. And now on the Switch 2, take that again and increase the performance level here. Perfect, flawless, 60 frames a second, faster load times between different areas, clean visual presentation, just as great. So I think many would be like, why not just get this version and play it on the Switch too? Still better, I guess, than like Xbox and PC and PlayStation, to be honest with you. So if you want a modern action Metroidvania that plays smoothly on handheld as it does in docked, this is it. The parrying in this game, oh my gosh, when you're swiping up your sword and blocking an enemy and doing all sorts of moves. There's so many combination moves that you can do here in a training area that really makes it fluid and fun and so satisfying. Slide between someone's legs, jump up in the air, sword slash down, back flips up in the air. It's beautiful. It's so good. And I will say very difficult. Hollow Knight, difficult. This is very difficult. There's some saw levels and spikes and trying to dash in midair and use. That also has a really cool time mechanic, like using time travel in a way to stop time is a really cool idea. Some really cool, ingenious things in this game. So definitely recommend this on the Switch too. Next up, Dead Cells. I've played this game, I think, on just about every different platform, from iOS to the Switch, you name it. And few games combine roguelike energy and Metroidvania structures as effortlessly as Dead Cells does. So you might think you're playing like a roguelike, but you're really playing a Metroidvania in a lot of ways. Each run teaches you something new. Every power-up changes how you move. Every shortcut you discover makes the world sort of feel more alive. Now, they've done a couple of different expansion packs and sort of DLCs that are available on the cartridge, like Dead Cells and Return to Castlevania. Whatever it is, pick it up and play it on the Switch 2. It was already a technical showpiece on the Switch 1, running at 60 frames a second, but the Switch 2, again, takes it further. Load times between these areas are practically gone. Restarting after a death is like near instantaneous, which you are going to do a lot of dying in this game, for sure. And for pure just like gameplay feel, this remains unmatched. So yeah, maybe because we've had all these like DLCs, and maybe we'll see a Dead Cells 2 at some point. I know we are. I think there was a rumor I just read the other day about that. I think they're holding off on it for a little while. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know exactly when it's coming, but it will come at some point. Next up, number 6 on my list is a game that I've really been enjoying a lot lately, and that is Blasphemous. This is a classic and one of the greatest indie games ever made. It has this haunting gothic, English gothic vibe to it. It is grim, it's punishing, it's beautiful, it's a darkly sort of religious Metroidvania, but it has so much atmosphere. And it had a lot of frame rate issues when it first launched back in the day on the Switch 1, but then Game Kitchen fixed them with their Stir of Dawn update, and now the game runs at near 60 frames a second throughout. On the Switch 2, these improvements hold perfectly. No drops, no stutters, it just works. I know there's a physical copy of it. I've tried to buy this game. It's very expensive. There was like a limited release of it physically. I think they then re-released it, but it was still incredibly hard to find. I know it's like over $100 to try to find the physical, but the good news is on the eShop, if you just want to get a digital copy of this game, it's pretty cheap. They go on sale quite a bit. And by the way, I should mention, hey, if you don't want to play it on the Switch 2 and you want to play it on the Steam Deck, again, sales on the Steam store as well. You can pick it up for like $3.99. But it's such a great game. I've heard Blasphemous 2 is also excellent. I haven't gotten there yet, but it plays beautifully on the Switch 2. It's the kind of game where exploration feels like penance a little bit, and with this faster hardware, you can experience it exactly as it's intended. So highly recommend Blasphemous on the Switch 2. Number 7 on my list is Disney's Illusion Island. This is a game I've been really enjoying playing with my daughter. I started playing it on the Switch 1, and then we jumped over and started playing it on the Switch 2. We'll play it together in the mornings before school. If she's done eating her breakfast and all that, we have some time to kind of just kick back and play for a few minutes. I've been playing as Donald Duck. She's been playing as Minnie Mouse. You know, not every Metroidvania needs to be grim. Disney's Illusion Island is proof that you can actually deliver the same exploration-driven design and in a very family-friendly package. And when I say family-friendly, I really mean that, because you can amp up the difficulty or really make it easy and make it fun for the little ones to play. Up to 4 people can play at a time, and you're hopping around different levels and, you know, platforming and having to work together to solve some puzzles together, and it's a lot of fun. And you know, she and I, we'll kind of yell at each other throughout. It's kind of fun. She's, no, you go up there. No, I'll go over there. And it's a lot of fun to play together. There's no combat in this game. It's just sort of clever traversal abilities, you know, hopping on top of an enemy's head, stuff like that. But you're not really, you know, not getting to like a lot of sword play. And there are a lot of fun upgrades too. Like Donald Duck has this like little jetpack thing. You know, you get these sort of upgrades where you can do double jumps and dashes and stuff. And they're all sort of really creative ways that they give you these powers. And so I really enjoying it. You can, you know, it's again, you're unlocking new areas as you progress. You can go backwards, you go forwards. It runs at 60 frames a second. It's vibrant. It has a beautiful hand-drawn art style to it, which looks stunning on this in handheld mode, but really looks beautiful on the big screen. I think this is one of those games you got to play on the big screen, because especially when the map pulls out or the platforming area pulls out if you're playing with multiple people. I mean, I don't know how you would really even want to play this in handheld mode with multiple people, but when it pulls out and the characters can get small. So you definitely want to play it on a big screen, I think. So if you've got some younger gamers at home, you want something lighthearted, like as a palate cleanser, you maybe to play after you beat Hollow Knight or Hollow Knight Silksong, this is a good one, and it's really true to the fundamentals of the Metroidvania genre. So highly recommend Disney's Illusion Island. Number 8 on my list is this one right here, sitting on the top of my pile, and that is Shantae. Yes, this is the limited run edition of the original Shantae, and boy, I'd never played a Shantae game before and had an absolute blast before Hollow Knight existed. before any of these other big ones that we're talking about existed, there was Shantae. Original release back on the Game Boy Color days. It's one of those first handheld games to truly embrace like Metroidvania design, using transformation abilities. You could turn into a bird, turn into an elephant, to revisit earlier areas. Oh wait, now I'm an elephant? I'm in like an Indian style looking elephant here, and I can now smash through this wall and uncover an entirely new area. Or hey, and now I'm this bird and I can fly incredibly high up the skyscraper, up very high on the cliffside and unlock those new powers and find a new pathway. So much fun. The game is it's amazing to think that these games were like on the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Color, and they're huge games. This one took me like over a week to play. I was on vacation at the time and was playing it every night for like an hour or two before bedtime. Yeah, it took me about a week to beat this game. A lot of fun though. The music is fantastic. And again, you can pick up a lot of these different collections now of Shantae, and it's just so much, it's totally different. I mean, if you're used to like Metroid and you're used to these other, Hollow Knight style with a sword, here, you're using her ponytail to slash at enemies. You've got these transformation abilities. It's so great. It's got a great sense of humor to it. The enemy designs are so much fun. It just really does a great job. So you can get the physical copies, obviously, and there's a couple of different collections you can pick up, but I'm sure you can also find them pretty cheaply if you can't find the physicals on the eShop. They run at a beautiful 60 frames a second, pixel perfect scaling here on the Switch 2 screen, colorful sprites, look great. The music pops with those speakers. It just feels great. And it really is like a foundational piece of Metroidvania history here. So yeah, I highly recommend Shantae if you've never got a chance to play it. And it's not just for girls. Like it's pretty brutal combat. So it's not like, oh, just like a cute like Barbie style game. No. It's a female character, but it's a badass game. Highly recommend it. All right, next up, Castlevania Anniversary Collection, number 9 on my list. Every Metroidvania fan owes something to Castlevania. Yes, we could argue that really Symphony of the Night is the purest example of that, but no, we got to go back. Go back to the originals. You got to play the original Castlevania, and that's where the Anniversary Collection comes into play, because that has, in the Anniversary Collection, you've got the original, I think it's got 7 games on here: Simon's Quest, Dragon's Curse, Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 3, Castlevania Bloodlines, Kid Dracula. You've got some great games on this collection, and it usually goes on sale again, if you don't want a physical copy, pick it up. It usually goes on sale on the eShop, but I would highly recommend having a physical copy to have all of these great games inside this one collection. Plus, it comes with like a nice little booklet inside as well with some notes and a manual. Imagine having a manual inside of an actual cartridge case for Nintendo Switch. But you get all of the NES originals, plus some of the newer ones, of course, and it's a blueprint that inspired nearly every modern entry on this list. The gameplay here is flawless on the Switch 2, 0 input lag, beautiful upscaling, instant save states for a lot of these classic games. Having save states is essential in 2025 and 2026 for sure. Even decades later, though, these games still command respect for their level design, their challenges, the music, all of it, the atmosphere. You got to pick up a Castlevania Advance, the Anniversary Collection. Number 10 on my list is a relatively new game as well, and that is Animal Well. This game came out of nowhere. Yes, Donkey, of course, YouTube creator Donkey was a big, producer on the project, but it was developed by one individual, and then Donkey's production company came in and sort of swooped it up and became a big backer of this game. And it is a beautiful Metroidvania with a massive map. You play as like this little pixel art blob who's down in this like underground cavern area with all of these wacky animals that are down there and weird ducks and birds, and you're hunting around to get different eggs. And the exploration in this game, I know the developer said, he built in so many hidden things that he said people for the next 10, 15 years are going to be finding them and unlocking them because it's just that hidden. There's so many little nooks and crannies that you can slip through and find hidden rooms and eggs and everything. So I don't know if anyone's actually completed the game in the way that he envisioned it. Maybe it's going to take 10 to 15 years. There's probably some nut job out there who's probably done it and completed it within a few weeks. I wouldn't be surprised. But it is gorgeous. The music is haunting. It just has such an incredible feeling and responsiveness to it. And to play it on the Switch 2 screen is gorgeous. This is like the perfect sit on the couch, get under a blanket, sit by the fire, You know, and if you're like watching a football game or something like that in the background, just kind of play and navigate and explore and try to unlock these puzzles. And some of these puzzles are so satisfying. Like once you figure it out, you're like, and it's usually within like one room. Like, how do I do this? How do I, okay, if I flick that lever there, that's going to unlock this thing here. Ah, I got it. I figured it out. Now, I originally played this on the PS5. It was available as part of the PSN, you know, as part of like a free download as part of my PSN account. But I bought the physical, and I bought the physical collector's edition of it on the Switch, and it just plays beautifully on the Switch too. It really does. So I highly recommend picking up a physical copy of this game. Also, what's crazy about this game is it's like 300 megabytes. It's so small, yet the map is so big, and there's so much to explore. This is one of those games you can just come back to for years and years. I rolled credits on the game. I beat the game, but I only got like maybe 60% of the eggs. There's still so much more for me to do in this game at some point. If I want to return to it, I will in a much larger capacity. But yeah, I think I beat the game, but I feel like I barely scratched the surface on this game for sure. All right, I've got 2 bonus mentions here. Now, the reason they weren't in my first 10 is because I haven't beat these games. And every other game I mentioned here, I beat. Some of them I 100%ed, but I just felt like these, I haven't beat them yet, so I wanted to put them at the end. But they definitely deserve a mention, and I know many of you would yell at me if I didn't mention this, because anytime I talk about Metroidvanias, invariably people in the comments always say, hey Clayton, have you ever played Ori and the Will of the Wisps? And yes, I have, and it plays beautifully on the Nintendo Switch too. And I would recommend picking up this collection, the Ori collection. You can find it fairly cheap online. I think it's still pretty widely available on the Nintendo Switch 1, but you get Ori and the Will of the Wisps and the Blind Forest in one nice little cartridge. Absolutely beautiful game. I mean, this is still one of the most emotionally powerful platformers ever made. It runs at 60 frames a second, loads almost instantly, looks beautiful on that larger 8-inch screen from the Switch 2. Even without an official Switch 2 patch, the experience just feels like elevated. Like, yeah, you got to get this, you know? Again, that's why I think the Switch 2 has an incredible back catalog. I think it's the ultimate backwards compatibility back catalog system, frankly, to be honest with you. Oh, and then finally, let's talk about this. Yes, The Messenger. It starts out as a retro-style ninja action game, turns into a full-blown Metroidvania halfway through this game. Clever time mechanics you've got going on here, self-aware humor, beautiful, beautiful art. Plays beautifully on the Switch 2. It runs flawlessly. This game is difficult to get on physical, okay? I know they just did a re-release, I think, at limited runs, so now it might be a little cheaper to pick up. But at one point, it was like over $100. Similar to Blasphemous. I think they've now made it available again, so you can pick up a copy if you want. But there are always eShop sales for this game, as well as on the Steam store. So if you can play it there, if you want to play it on, on that device, hey, it's up to you. An incredible looking game. And I think the same team that did this also did Ninja Gaiden Ragebound as well, that beautiful pixel art. So you can see a lot of similarities there. Highly recommend it. I haven't beat it yet, and I haven't beat Ori, any of these games in the Ori collection, so that's why I put them at the end of this list. So anyways, guys, there you go. That is a look at my 10 best Metroidvanias. Like if you're just starting out with the Switch 2 and you want to start to build your Metroidvania collection, this is a perfect list of 10 games to pick up to really kickstart your journey. Highly recommend that, guys. So from Castlevania to Shantae, from Blasphemous to the Metroid Prime series, the Switch 2, I think in many ways is becoming the ultimate Metroidvania platform console because of that massive back catalog of games which just play beautifully, even without patches on the Switch 2. So highly recommend picking these up if you're looking to build out your Metroidvania collection on the Switch 2. Let me know down below, how many of these have you played and beat? How many of those have you never heard of or you would think about trying for the first time? And also let me know down below some of your favorite Metroidvanias of all time and what you think maybe should be on my next list when I do my second list in the future at some point. I've got a lot of games to play right now. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for dialing us up. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.